Hello, hello.
Happy TEP Tuesday.
TEP Talk Tuesday. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Clarice
And
Leonis.
I'm Harriella Lawson.
And we are back for another one. Today we have a good one for you guys. So if you are interested in making money while you are sleeping, that's how I call it. Okay, investment in the stock market because your money is working for you while you are asleep.
That's
If
right.
you are interested in that, this is the life for you. Okay, again, we are not by no means financial advisors. Our guest is not a financial advisor. However, she has experience under her belt. So we are going to speak with her today and just learn about the basics of stock markets. So we're just going to um, talk about, the little things that you need to know
Mm-hmm.
before even start thinking about, okay, what do I need to invest in and stuff like that. So that's what we're going to talk about. But before we get to that, before we meet our guest for today, what is TEP Direct, Ariella? You want to tell us a little bit about TEP Direct?
Yes. I think Tap Direct is actually like one of the best like organizations, to be honest. But let me
Okay.
tell you why. Tap Direct is really a place where it's a platform where we put together a lot of people within the Togolese community for you to reach out to, for you to use to your own advantage, because sometimes we don't know where they are or how they can be helpful to us. So if you go to tepdirect.com, you'll be able to see various of things. So, for example, if you need a hairdresser,
Yeah.
there's Braids by Rand. If you need a plumber, if you need a photographer, it's all there. It's a resource that you can be able to use to pour back into our community. And
Exactly.
there's other ways to support us as well. We have some merchandise like sweatshirts, t-shirts, even cups. So if you go to www.bonfire.com, these are other ways where you can be able to support us as well as we're moving towards getting bigger things and better things to help our community.
Absolutely. Also, if you are a business owner, okay, and you are not on Tap Direct, a Togolese business owners, yes, sorry, we are a little bit ethnocentric, because there's a parable that they say in I think it's all over Africa that
It's awesome.
says that dirty laundry is washed at home and you have to wash your home first before you can help somebody else. So yes, we have been a little bit ethnocentric, but doesn't mean we're forgetting about everybody. Okay, we are working on that. But as of right now, if you are a Togolese business owner and you are not on Tap Direct, please get on it. Get on it because there's so many talents out there that some of us don't know about, and Tap Direct allow us to recognize those talents. So
Yeah.
if you are a lawyer, a doctor, a dentist, a plumber, a carpenter, a mechanic,
Everything.
whatever you have, whatever talent you have, whatever business you have, get on Tap Direct. It's a $5 subscription fee, but it is free for a lifetime. So you just pay $5 one time subscription fee, and that's it. You don't have to pay anything for the lifetime. Okay, so to register, all you have to do is go on www.tapdirect.com, and then you click on at the top of the page. It says get listed today. You click on that, you fill out your information, and we will check your listing and you will be activated on the account. Okay, so please get on it and do that. Also, if you want to advertise with us during TEP Talk or during TEP member corners, you can do so. Just email us at tepdirect@gmail.com, and we will give you all the information necessary that you need in order to advertise during our show. All right. Uh, if you haven't done so, please, we ask you to share this live. This is a very important live. Again, if you are looking into investing and making money elsewhere other than your regular income, and you're just curious. Even curiosity is good. If you're just curious, if you are a college student and you don't, you're just curious, you want to know, come in, join, tag your friends, invite your friends, share the live into all your groups, into people's messenger. This is going to be a good one. And I think we are ready to meet our guest today. I am so, so
I am so
excited
excited.
to have her on. So let's meet her. So, our guest today name is Doris. So Doris Elam, she's originally from Togo, like Ariala and I, and she has been in the US for about 21 years and living in the New York area. She likes to take it easy, travel. I've seen her travel logs, okay? She loves to travel and have a good time with friends and family. She started her stock trading journey years ago after taking a job with TD Ameritrade, which required her to take the Series 7 and 66 licenses. I don't know what those are. We are going to ask her what those are.
We shall find out today.
So, like I said before, she is definitely not a financial advisor. Even if she was a financial advisor, she's not your personal financial advisor. So she cannot give you financial advices. But what she's going to do is just share her experiences with us, and, what she knows, what she have learned throughout her years of trading. So, I want to become big money like her. So I have my notebook ready, guys. I have
Get your
my
pen ready.
pen. I'm gonna be taking notes. So I don't know about you. I don't know about these people watching us. If they don't want to take these notes, I'll be here collecting, okay? Because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
trying to make banks. All right. So enough about me. Let's meet Doris. Hey, hi.
Community,
Welcome.
everybody on.
Welcome, welcome. We are so excited to have you. Thank you for accepting to come share your knowledge and experience with us. We are so grateful for it. Thank you so much.
The pleasure is all mine.
Okay, so let's get started. Before we get into the questions, we wanted to know a little bit about Doris. Who is Doris? When somebody said Doris, what should we know about Doris?
Oh, wow. Doris, so I am just fond of life. I just, like you said, I like to take it easy, but I like money.
Okay.
So any conversation about money, I'm all for it. And I guess that's why I'm here.
I like that. I like money too. So we're I think we're gonna get along fine. Ariela, do you have any question for Doris before I continue? Because the way I like money, I'm not gonna stop if I start talking. So my friend, if you have question, ask now.
I think before we get into it, you mentioned that you liked money. What drove you to find this way of making money?
Oh,
And then
that's a
I
good
think from
question.
there, and I think from there we can get into tonight's topic.
Yeah, that's
Awesome.
a good question.
Yeah.
So, I actually have an MBA in finance. And so that's where, obviously, being in the financial industry, you are really drawn into that world, right? And also, like Clarice mentioned, when back in the days when I was trying to survive in Omaha, Nebraska, where I used to live, I applied for a job with TD Ameritrade for those who don't know, TD Ameritrade is a broker. It's a brokerage firm where you can buy and sell stocks. And in order to work there, they pay for your training for a month or so. However, in order to actually keep the job, you have to have a license. It's like a broker license, because what you're doing really in the job is you are dealing with people who are investing their money, right? And if you probably know the American culture, you don't play with people's money. You better know what you're talking about. So you do have to be licensed
Okay.
in order to have that job. So for the 1 month where you're doing training, you really study. That's all
Mm.
you're doing. The training is actually studying,
Okay.
and the books are like this, and you have to really figure it out. And then you have to take the exam.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get your license, then you get onto the floor and you start really working, answering questions. And by working with wealthy people, you just change, your mentality
You
changes.
want to be like, you don't want to just keep people's money. You want to have that money too.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
learn some of the strategies. You get into people's head about why they're doing this, how they're
Yeah.
doing it, what
Mm-hmm.
their goals are, and eventually you just start thinking the way they do.
Yeah.
So that's how I got into the world of trading.
Absolutely. I love it.
Wow.
So you have an MBA in finance, you're a licensed broker, and you're making banks. So I'm going to become your adopted child.
And let me tell you a funny story, right? So you want to know
Okay.
about me? Let me tell you a funny story. So before, when I used to live in the U.S., then I moved to Germany, then I moved back to the U.S. When I was in Germany and I wanted to move back into the U.S., I started applying for jobs. And one of the company that called me, I didn't even know what the job was. The guy was just saying like, "Hey, by the way, we're in New York and we're on Wall Street in the Donald Trump building." And I'm like, just sign me up. I don't know what the job is. If I can work on Wall Street, I will take the job.
Yeah.
So again, that's the other aspect of having been able to work on Wall Street right in front of the New York Stock Exchange. It
Mm-hmm.
also changed, the mentality,
Hmm.
seeing all of that and being like, yeah,
Yeah. I
this
want
is,
it.
yeah,
Mm-hmm. I
you
want
want it.
part of the bread. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Again, like I want to be on your will and everything. So but let's talk later.
After the show.
Okay. So the basics of the stock market. So let's take it back to, I don't know, the beginning. What is the stock market?
So what I'm going to do for this, because it's basic, one of the things with the stock market is that it can be a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of the reasons why a lot of people don't get into it. So I'm going to try and keep it very simple.
Mm-hmm.
And if anyone wants additional information, I'm happy to go into detail. But I think the first step is to keep it as simple as possible so you can
Yeah.
grasp
Mm-hmm.
all of the aspect and dig in further if you want. So when we
Absolutely.
talk about the stock market, just think about it as a place where you can go buy or sell a piece of a company, right? So we may have to start with what is a stock. A stock would be just like you buying a piece of a company, so you become kind of like a partner of that company. Everybody knows Apple or Google. So if you buy one stock of Apple or Google, you technically are what they call a shareholder. So
Mm-hmm.
you now own a little piece of Apple, and that even gives you the right to, like voting right. If they're having meetings, they might invite you. There's like an annual shareholder meetings. They might invite you to come in and vote on some of the decisions. Not everything, obviously, but you do have those rights. So really, the market is just that place where you can go in and buy or sell stocks that you own or you want to
Mhm.
buy.
Yeah. Let's be asigame nene.
There you go. You know, I thought about that. I'm like, no,
Yeah,
I don't
elle
let Clarice
siga
say it.
me bon, on va les play ou à te play nous chon 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 la siga ko ave play à
Yeah,
demain, à play BC, à play mi, à ça va da demain this year. You go on the stock markets, you buy pieces of companies and
there you
yeah.
go.
Okay.
There you go.
Alright, let's go to the next question.
So the next question is, what is an IPO?
Yeah.
This one, yes, I don't know.
An IPO, that stands for initial public offering. So before a company becomes public, it's usually would be like a private company. So for example, TEP Direct is owned by Clarice and her team, right? And eventually you become big and you think, hey, you know what? We're now big and we want to raise more money. We want more
Amen.
money.
No.
I'm preaching this to you, right?
Amen. No.
Uh, so you're like, well, we're now big and we want to raise more money so we can do other things and, maybe get even bigger.
Mm.
So the way you're going to do, you can either go to the bank and ask for the bank to loan you money, or you can do what is called you can go public. So the more people out there buy, you can issue shares of your company, and the more people buy, you get the money, right?
Mhm.
And that money you can use it to do whatever you want to do. So basically it's a way for companies to raise money, and it benefits them compared to going to the bank where you have to pay interest on the loan and have some restriction. They would rather just go public and issue shares of the company that people will be able to buy and own a piece of the company.
Mhm. So how do I make money if I buy from them? I'm giving them money. So how do I make money?
Good question. So, so how you make money? When we're talking about IPO and the stock market, just so you know, it's a little bit there are differences in there. When
Okay.
the company goes public and issue shares, you do not necessarily want to buy right away. So we take
Mm.
the example of Facebook. When Facebook, I think this was like in 2012, when they did their initial offering, the stock was issued at about $30. The company will come and say, based on how much we believe we're worth, our stock is going to start at $32 a share, for example.
Mhm.
Now, usually once it hits the market, there is a lot of speculation, people want to buy, but being that that is so new, you
Mhm.
just don't know how the stock is going to perform. So if you buy right away, there is a chance that it's going to drop. And
Mhm.
with Facebook, it actually happened where they went from $32 to like, I think 20 in the 20s, then it goes back up. And so one thing with the stock market is things change. That's one thing
Mhm.
you want to make a note of. There's a lot of fluctuation. And when we're talking about the IPO and the stock market in general, IPOs should be, you should just make a note that when a company goes IPO, it just means that they're now listed and you
Mhm.
can buy their stocks.
It
If they're
doesn't mean go
private,
ahead and buy it.
yeah, if they're private, you will not be able to buy a stock in the company. So that's the difference.
Okay.
Now, how do you make money in the stock market? Good question. The first way you make money is by some companies will pay dividend, for example. So if you buy a stock of a company that pays dividend, you own the stocks, but every quarter or monthly you will earn a little bit of something. The company will have a schedule that says monthly we pay, $1 a share or 10 cents a share, whatever the company terms are. You can know in advance by researching the company. Not every company pays dividends, so that's one way you can earn, money on your stock. Some, and depending on your age, a lot of like the older people, they want safety. They buy dividend stocks. That
Mm-hmm.
way, the money's there every quarter or every month, whatever the frequency is for the stocks, that money just comes in.
Okay.
And that's additional income that you just have, right? The other way you earn money is by the stock going up. If you had bought a share of Facebook at $30 in 2012, and today, Facebook is worth about $335 a share. If we have folks in the room who are good at math, you can imagine just with 100 shares at $30. And now that $30, you take the difference between the 335. Can somebody do the math for me so it's not coming from me? So you actually say, let's assume you only have 100 shares. And so you do 100 times, let's assume for the sake of simple math, say it was $20. So you take $100 times 20. Okay. Then you take that $100 times 335 today. What's the difference? How much have you made in those years?
You have made $31,500.
All right, that's the other way you make money. And in this case,
Hey,
if you
Chineke.
hold it for long, obviously it's called long term gain.
Okay. Um.
And third, just so you know, one other reason why people put their money in the stock market is to beat inflation. I'm not sure how many folks are on here are familiar with inflation, but the money that you put in your bank account, it actually decreases in value. If I can say that simple, because there is inflation of about 2% on average every year. So whatever money is in there today, a year later or 2 years later, it's really not going to afford you the same thing it would have afforded you last year. So you
Mhm.
really, your purchasing value is actually decreasing with the money in your bank because you're not really earning any money on it. But
Mhm.
if you put it in a stock market, yes, there is a chance, there is a risk that you could lose your money depending on what you invested in.
Mhm.
But on average, they usually say that stock market, if you're following the rules or doing what you need to do properly, you could have a rate of return of about 10%. So
Oh,
that's ten
that's
percent
not
that you
bad.
can expect to see on your in the funds in the market, as opposed to having it in your bank account and maybe having interest of like what 1% or less than one
Less
percent
than one
nowadays,
percent.
maybe
Yeah,
point
it's
zero zero
often,
five or
yeah,
something.
yeah. I think the moves will be like, yeah, 0.45 or 55.
Yeah.
Yeah, less
Yeah.
than 1%. So before we actually get to the third question that we have prepared, in your questions and your answer just now, you were talking about dividends and you were talking about dividend stocks, and
Mhm.
so um how does what are the indicators that a stock is a dividend stock, or is it an easy way to find that out, or do I have to do extensive research to find that out? Or if I go onto an app, for example, to buy a stock, is there something that would tell me how this stock is a dividend stock versus another?
Yes, good question. So when you're researching a stock, you would go into one area you can find information about stocks is like Yahoo Finance.
Hmm.
That's like an old one. And when you type in the symbol of the stocks, maybe this is also some basic information. Usually, let's say when you type Apple, let's just say Google, for example, or Amazon. Let's do Amazon. Everybody shops on Amazon.
Yeah.
The name of the company might be Amazon, but there's something called a ticker symbol.
Hmm.
The symbol could be like a 4 letter or 5 letters. So Amazon will be AMZN.
Mm,
So when you're Googling, you can easily Google what stocks pays dividend, and
Okay.
you'll see like a whole list of stocks. Or when you're researching that, when you go to Yahoo Finance and you type in the ticker symbol or just Amazon and it comes up, it will tell you in the information about the stock if they pay dividend or not.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. All right, let's get into the third question, Ariella.
so our third question is, what are bonds, penny stocks, ETF, or index funds? And are there any other types out there for us to know? So I guess we can just start off by the first that we've
And
mentioned.
it's so funny that we have this question because one of the audience member just asked if we could talk about index funds. So there it is. We are in sync, DJ Show Guy. We are in sync.
Yeah. So bonds. Bonds are another way to invest your money. The only thing with bond is that they're usually issued by like the government or corporation, and they usually have it's like a loan, right? You loan your money to the company or to the government, and they promise to pay you back the amount you gave them on a like at a specific time or specific on a specific day, and you have a specific interest that they will tell you they will be paying you. Maybe it could be twice a year or a certain amount of time a year. Usually it's not as it's a little bit restrictive, if I may say that, because it's very specific. You
Hmm.
get your money back and you get a small interest back on it. And there are a little bit of research that you need to do because there could be like a high risk bond. They have a credit rating. So you have to figure out if the one you're buying, is it a risky bond or not. And depending on how the company the credit level that they have, you could have like little interest paid back to you. But they are safe because you're going to get your money back. um,
Yeah.
yeah. Now, exchange traded funds or index funds. Index funds would be like instead of you buying one specific stock, you can decide to buy uh, a pool. There's a pool where there are many different kind of stocks in it, and you're buying that one item out of the pool. So for example, you can have how do you call it, the Dow Jones Dow Jones stocks, right? And what that is it is tracking the performance of a certain number of stocks in that pool. So if you buy that only one of that, you are really buying the performance of a group of stocks in that pool. It's less risky because if you only buy one stock of Apple and Apple doesn't do well, you could lose your money. But if you buy one stock where you have Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, all the companies in there, if one company goes bad, you still have many other companies that could be doing well.
Hmm.
So overall, your risk is minimized. That's why some people prefer like an index fund as opposed to like just buying a regular stock. Does that make
So
sense?
would the price for the index fund be a combined price of all of those stocks?
Not necessarily a combined price
Okay.
because it's tracking the way it works on the back end can be a little bit complex, but that index fund is going to have a price of its own. Just
Okay.
like Apple will be trading on the market at, let's say, $100,
Hmm.
that index fund is going to have its own price
Okay.
based on the performance of how the fund is doing.
Okay. So it's kind of like a tricky math that they do.
Yeah.
It's not like they just combine, okay, I have Apple, Amazon, I'm going to take Apple stock price, Amazon,
No.
combine it and have it. They do some kind of math. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay. ETFs.
ETFs are almost the same as like an index fund. They're called
Okay.
exchange traded funds, and it's the same concept.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. And penny stocks.
Penny stocks are fun. Technically, a penny stock is any stock trading at $5 or less,
Okay.
and they're considered to be risky only because it could be like a new company coming in that's still trying to prove themselves, or it could be a company that was doing well and then for some reason maybe they filed bankruptcy, or something didn't go right and the stock market dropped. There is I think what example I can give you. There's one main company. I'm trying to think about the name. It used to be like $300 stocks. That's now like less than a penny. No,
No,
less than a
what?
dollar. Yeah, yeah, it happens. And you would be like, wait, was this company used to be like $300 a share? But yeah, it happens if they file bankruptcy or they're not doing well, or
Mm,
they're like brand new, like a small company, brand new, starting all over, and they're proving themselves, so they can be considered penny stocks. It's not always bad because you have a lot of stuff that started as penny stock, and today they're trading way, well above $5. So
mm-hmm.
it's just like it can be risky because of how they're categorized.
Yeah, absolutely. And somebody say market, money market.
Money market is another way. It's a little bit more like when you put your money in your bank account and you earn a little bit of interest. It's for the sake of investing and making money. Money market is not. It's just considered as being putting money in your bank account. You're really
Okay.
not earning much.
That is, people are just coming up. We talk about this, talk about that. My people, hey, hold your horses. Hey, do you see money? When you talk about money, eh? People are here.
Yeah,
Everybody wants to jump in.
we all came here for a reason.
People
So
are here. Oh. Everybody. Hey, God. You see your people. You no God no go shame us. Okay, so I'm interested in investing and trading and doing that. What are three major secure platform based on your own personal opinion that we could use for trading?
yes. So there are a lot of platforms out there, and I'm glad you mentioned based on my personal opinion. I am biased towards TD Ameritrade, and if you Google it, they are among the best, especially because they provide the app is very good. A lot of my trading I just do on my app. I don't have to necessarily log in onto a computer. We all know how we are these days. You can be traveling or you can be just
On the go.
taking a break and,
Yeah.
and quickly
And
look up
that's why we are working hard to get Tap Direct on an app.
there
Just
you
an
go.
FYI. Just an FYI.
There you go. The keyword nowadays is an app. Everybody,
Mm-hmm.
we're doing everything through an app nowadays. So
Yeah.
TD Ameritrade has a great, easy to use app. And on the website, when you log into the website, they also have an educational tab where you can really learn about the stock market. They just provide so many resources for a new investor. There's just information out there for you. Also, some other companies like Fidelity, Schwab, E-Trade, they're all good. They all have the pros and cons depending on what it is that you want. And nowadays, we also have some of the newer companies like Webull and Robinhood. Now, Robinhood is good. The only thing with them is that they only trade when the market is open. And I'm going to introduce a new concept here real quick. The market, there's a regular time to trade in the market, and that's like 9:30 Eastern, 9:30 a.m. Eastern to 4 p.m. Eastern. But there's also something called the pre-market, and there is the aftermarket.
Mm-hmm.
Pre-market will be, depending on the app, most US trading platform, pre-market will be 7 a.m. Eastern up to 9:30 when the actual market opens. And aftermarket would be from 4:01, I guess, to 8 p.m. The thing with Robinhood is that you cannot trade before the market opens or after the market opens. So if you're a seasonal trader, you're not going to enjoy. It's really for like beginners.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you, if you're seasoned and there are things that you want to take advantage of during pre-market, aftermarket, you
Pre-market.
won't be
Mm-hmm.
able to do it on Robinhood.
Okay.
However, there's another new one, which is Webull, which I really really like. Webull does have a fantastic app, and they have tools within the app that you can do your research. So there's like a tool called a stock screener. A stock screener would be like, they will categorize things for you. When you're trying to invest, you want to first decide, do I want to invest in tech? Do I want to invest in green energy? Do I want to invest in home builders? So there are all these different sectors that you can choose, and Webull has this thing in their app where they can tell you the best performing stocks in each industry or each sector. And you
Mm-hmm.
can just see how they have performed and who the competitors are. And you can easily be like, oh, okay, this one is doing well. I want to try this. So that's why I like Webull. Plus, they also allow you to trade. The pre-market start at 4 a.m.,
Okay.
which is
Okay.
fantastic.
4 a.m. Eastern time
Yes,
or okay.
4 a.m. Eastern time.
Okay.
A lot happens in pre-market. It can be risky, but if you know what you're doing, you can actually make more money in pre-market than
Pre-market.
you do when the market opens. So
Man,
having
so
those,
there's no sleeping time. I should be, hey
no,
God. Ah. Oh
because like if I
boy.
give you an
Mm.
example, probably everybody on here has heard about the GameStop shenanigans. All right.
Yes.
Yep.
So when I was checking my app at 4 or 5 a.m., at one time, GameStop was like $500. But you can't buy it, you can't sell it because it's not 7 a.m. yet. But by the time it hit 7 a.m., it was already down to 300. So
Wow.
if you had that opportunity
To
to
buy it,
buy
yeah.
or sell,
Hmm.
especially sell during that time, you have banked in your money. that's
Mm-hmm.
that's why the hours of being able to trade early matters to some people. So those are some of the consideration
So,
to use
what
out there.
time do you sleep and what time do you wake up? Because I need to get on your schedule,
As well.
Doris.
Yeah.
I need to get on your schedule. So tell me, what time do you go to bed and what time do you wake up?
Well, the majority of my portfolio is on TD Ameritrade, so I'm slowly moving towards Webull. But because I'm on TD Ameritrade, my natural clock by 5:36 a.m. I'm naturally up. It
Oh,
doesn't matter what time I
God.
go to bed. I'm
5:30.
ready.
I'm still eating fufu back in my village. Hey, God.
Nice.
Yeah. And one last app that I do want to mention, it's called M1 Finance. M1 Finance is great just because they do most of the work for you, right? Let's say you don't want to think too much about investing. You just want to see um, you there is a pie. You can say, I want to invest a little bit in Apple, a little bit here in Facebook, and those examples are just the companies I'm naming are just because everybody knows them. So you create your own pie of what you want in that pie, and you can say, okay, I have $1,000, figure it out, and you
Mm-hmm.
tell them what you want in your pie, and they will go ahead and just apply that 1,000 based on a percentage for you, so you're not really doing a lot of the work. Or you can say, you know what, I want to mimic what some good companies out there, like the hedge funds or the professionals out there, they usually have a portfolio of a mix of things in there. And you say, I want to replicate what they're doing because their performance has been good. And you just put in the money and they figure it out for you. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I like that one. There are a lot of options out there depending on what your goals are. One of the things I love about the stock market really is like it's like a buffet. Whatever you
Mm.
want, there is a solution, there's an option for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to take a couple seconds break, and then we're gonna go ahead and do the other questions. But before we do that, there was somebody that said, acknowledging that you are now wearing the hat of my financial advisor now, could you please share your opinion about using Fidelity Investment as a platform? And I believe one of them that you said, so I think that answered your question, Mr. Ebank. I think she mentioned Fidelity Investment as a platform. So not as your financial advisor, you can do your research on Fidelity Investment and maybe start using them if you choose to. Um, we are not, guys, we are trying to do basic stock market,
Basic
so
thing.
we are not going to dive
Calm
into
down.
people are asking, how do I make money? They're asking about Patreon pay. I, I mean, like, how can we make easy money in the stock market? My friend, don't sleep. Okay, so did she say Edward Finance? No, not Edward Finance. M1 Finance.
Yes, M1
Yes,
Finance.
M1.
M1. M as in miracle, the number one, finance.
Right.
All
Yes.
right, let's take a breather, drink some
Breather,
hot tea, and let's get back. This is fire. Woo, woo, woo. The knowledge, the shot, girl. Mm-mm-mm.
everything.
All right, we are back in the house. Whew. I don't know about you, but I don't want this to end because I have so much questions.
So many
Okay,
questions.
let's go. So what's the difference between a long-term investor and a day trader? Because I hear about people being a day trader. I'm like, okay, so all you do during the day is trade and you sleep at night, or what does that mean?
So I am a day trader only because, well, I can be both. A long-term investor means you really buying and holding. If you remember, we talked about Facebook, and we said it was in 2012, it was what, $20, and then
Mm-hmm.
how many years later it's $300. That's an investor. It's the amount of time you're holding the stocks. A day trader means you're buying the stock today and you're selling it right like before the end of the day. You're not holding
Mm.
it over time. As opposed to being a day trader, there's also something called a swing trader where you can buy the stock today and you can hold it for a few days, a couple of weeks, and then you sell it. You're not holding it for a long term. So that's the difference between the different types of trading. A stock moves in a day. You can in the morning at 9 a.m. you could see. I wish we could have shared some of the my screen so we can share what these things look like. So you might wake up in the morning and the stock will be trading at let's say $100,
Mm-hmm.
and then 30 minutes later that stock might be like $50. Depending on the news, there could be something that, hey, they reported earnings, and these are things that you want to keep in mind. so many things can affect the price of the stock in a
Mhm.
day or within the lifetime of the stock. It could
Mhm.
be that they reported earnings and they missed. There's something called estimate where company expect them to come in and say we made 20 million, and they come and say, well, we made 15 million. So that to an investor is bad news. Like you didn't perform well. And as a result, your stock price is going to take the heat for that. So you could be buying something in the morning at a certain price, and then within a few minutes or a few hours or within a few days, it just drops. So a day trader is looking for the pattern where they can buy something, whether it's in the morning or before the market closes. You buy it when it's down and you quickly sell it when it goes up.
When it's up. Mhm.
So that's how you make your money. You can make your money within a few seconds
So,
or
do
within a
you have
few
to have big
minutes.
money to be a day trader? Because I feel like with $100, if I buy something that is, I mean, if I buy
You're
one
too
stock,
smart. You're too smart.
because if I buy one stock
Well,
$100 and it goes to 110, I sell it at $10. Ah,
well, you'll be surprised actually, because it depends. We have had stocks, and these are real examples where we had a stock actually not too long ago that
AMC.
went. I believe it was like a $5 stock
Yeah.
Oh,
that shoot up $100 in the day.
woof,
It went
Jesus.
from like
If I
five
look at
dollars or something to 155, literally. And this can happen with biotechs. For anyone out there, I'm not giving advice, but there are certain industries where you can see a big jump, but at the same time, you have to have what we call risk management, because whatever goes up is going to have to come down, right? It doesn't go
Correct.
up forever. So if it goes up and if it's going to come down, you have to have a tool in place to minimize your risk. And there are things that are called stop loss, stop limit. Those are a little bit more serious, and I don't want to go into that because we're talking about basic, but just know that there's something called risk management. And in order to day trade, you don't have to have a lot of money, but you make money based on the number of shares, right? If you buy one share at $1 and it goes up $1, you only make $1,
Mhm.
right? And
Mhm.
if you buy 1,000 shares
Right.
and it goes up $1,
You
you make
you gain one
$1,000.
thousand dollars.
So
Yeah.
that's where it depends on how much you invest in. But you can day trade with a small amount, and still make a little bit of money or huge money. But the
See, this
other,
is where I'm having a little issue
yeah,
with. It's not an issue, but that's one of my own prerogative where it's like the rich will always remain rich.
yeah,
It's like
yeah,
I was talking about this with a couple of friends the other day, and I like with the AMC stock,
mm-hmm,
and I was saying if I had $10,000 on the day that AMC was about $19, and I bought $10,000 worth of that in a week time, I would have tripled my $10,000.
yes.
But guess what? I didn't have no $10,000 anywhere. But I know there's somebody somewhere that had $1 million that they invested in that AMC stock.
Yeah, it's
How
money
do
costs
I get
money.
10,000 to invest? That's what I want to know. Where do I need to go rob a bank? Ah,
Well, you can start small and build up there. And the other thing is, we got to start cutting. The rich people don't spend the way we spend, right? You don't spend $1,000, $5,000 on a Louis Vuitton when you could have. How many shares can you buy with the money you? Okay, all right, I'll stop talking.
like you're in my house right now.
I'll just leave it there. Case, I rest my case.
oh, okay, okay, okay.
But
Well,
just another quick note on day trading. There is a rule about day trading. If in order to be technically called a day trader, you do have to have about a $25,000 or more in your account. If you're gonna do day trade like all the time. Okay. Uh, but you can buy something today and sell the same day, but you can only do it about 3 times a week in the working week before you're flagged as a day trader. Once you're flagged as a day trader, you're required to have a minimum of $25,000 in your account at the end of the day, and it's called the pattern day trade flag.
Okay. So the system track you and then
Yes.
flag you, hey, this person is making big money moves, they are day traders.
Yeah, well, they
Eh,
will track how many. If you buy and sell the same security within the same day, there's a
mm-hmm.
count. It tells them how many times you've done it, and I
Okay.
believe it's like 3 or 4 times in a week. Once you reach that number, they will flag you as a day trader. But you
It's a
can do a couple and get away with it.
I
Mm,
see. I
that's
see.
nice to know.
So does the flagging, oh, okay, so what is it saying is, what you're saying is that the flagging is now will not let you trade unless you have $25,000 to trade.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Now, if it flags you and you want to be a considered a day trader, they're gonna, make you have at least that 25,000, or you won't be able to day trade. The other things you want to do, if you don't want to be flagged, it falls off, right? Because it's like a certain number of time within a
Ah,
week. If you only do three, for example, it falls off after, I believe, like 3 business days. The first one will fall off after a certain amount of time. So you just time it yourself so you can continue doing it
if
without
you,
being flagged.
yeah, if you're not there yet, and then
Yeah.
eventually, yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. That makes sense. So, let's move to the questions, Ariella, that a lot of people are not going to like the answers to.
Okay.
Hmm. Are there penalties, parentheses taxes, when making profit while trading?
Well, we wouldn't want to call it penalties. If you're making money, Uncle Sam got a piece of that. So there is it's called capital gain, and it depends on how long before you sold, or how long before you made the profit. So if you buy a stock today and you hold it for a year or more, you're considered a long-term, the money you made is considered long-term capital gain. And with that, you get taxed on the gain. So if you bought it at $1, you sold it at $100, the difference of what you actually made, the positive one, it's gonna be taxed at your tax, usually about 10 to 20% tax bracket. Again, I can't really speak much about taxes because it
Hmm.
depends on everybody's
Bracket.
bracket and all that. But you are taxed less than if you traded it in less than a year. If it's less than a year, it's considered short-term gain, and a short-term gain, it is taxed heavier. Usually, like it might be 40% or 35%, whatever your tax bracket is. You're gonna be taxed higher than if you had held it for a long term.
So the gain will be considered part of your income.
Exactly.
So if, let's say, you did a short term transaction and you gain some money, and then your when tax comes and you do your personal income stuff, they don't necessarily have to tax it if you don't meet that income requirement.
Yeah, so what you want to do is you will report to your accountant or
Hmm.
whoever does your taxes. You tell them this is how much I made in the stock market, and they're gonna use that with whatever your income is. Let's say if you made 1,000 or 100,000, and whatever your tax bracket is, or how everything lumps up, that's what's gonna determine what you're gonna pay to the IRS. I have to be careful about saying how it works because
Hmm.
everybody is different.
Yeah.
So we usually say when it comes to taxes, make sure you consult with your accountant or tax person. But definitely make sure that you're reporting your trades to, at the end of,
For
I mean, during tax
taxes.
season,
Mm-hmm.
make
Right.
sure you report it. If you lose, let's say you lost, there are some rules about, I think you can only carry over about $3,000 in losses.
Okay.
So if you lose money, it can be used to lower your
Your
overall
income.
income and
Mm-hmm.
possibly lower your tax bracket. But
Mm-hmm.
again, anything with taxes, definitely consult with your advisor or
Yeah, of
whoever you're working
course.
with.
Right.
Yeah.
Always. So that mean would that mean that day traders get taxed in the higher bracket since you're not holding? Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna
Yeah.
feel the pain if you made a lot of money. You're definitely
But
gonna
you're not
feel
gonna
the pain.
feel it if you're
So,
making a lot of money out of it. I
well,
guess.
no, you're gonna feel it because what happened is you don't pay that tax right away. When you're
Mm.
making the money, it's your money. You think it's your money, right? And it's only at the end of the year, I mean, what, in April, when you finally file the taxes, and they're going to tell
Mm-hmm.
you, oh, by the way, did you
Mm.
know you made this much money and you're going to owe 30,000 to the IRS? And
Jesus.
yeah, I trust me, I'm not making this up. So,
Jesus is Lord.
and so you have to be actually strategic about it so that when you're making that money, you could
Right.
be putting aside part of that, right? If you know
Mm-hmm.
you're
Mm-hmm.
in a high tax bracket, just maybe say, you know what,
Yeah.
if I make 1,000 today, I'm gonna take 50% of that and
And
put
put
it
it
on the
there.
side so I can
Yeah.
pay the taxes. If not, it can be a surprise, like ouch. And if you don't
Yeah.
pay Uncle Sam on time, they tackle the penalties and the fees and the interest, and so it's something to keep in mind when you're trading.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Wow. I feel like this has been, for me personally, I don't know about anybody else, but for me personally, like I took note. I wasn't playing about taking notes.
I
I
think
literally,
that's true.
I literally took note. Like this has been one of the most educational and fun sessions so
Interactive.
far. Seriously, like you are talking with such an ease. You're not forcing it, and that to me is like, you are comfortable in what you're doing, you know what you're doing, and it makes the conversation easier. And I have learned so much. It's
So
so easy
much.
to learn from you. Like you can be a teacher, for real, for real.
No, for
Thank
real.
you.
No, no, for real.
Maybe it's in my genes. My dad
No,
was a
for real.
teacher.
Because like me personally, I'm not a good teacher. If it's me that is like in your shoes, even though I know what I'm talking about, it would be hard for me to explain it and like teach others. And for you, it was just so easy. Like I've learned so
Yeah.
much, even though I have dipped my feet into trading and all that before, but now I feel like, okay, I know where I'm sitting. Now I need to do more research to keep going if I want to keep going. So,
Yeah. She is
yeah,
from
she
Togo.
is from Togo. Don't get better Carola. Also, mi Togo tola. Yeah.
Yeah, Emma.
My people, we have brains, oh. We
Like
have
this makes me
brains and
so
talent. I'm
like,
telling you. Yes, she's from Togo. Yes, she is the
yeah,
best. Yes. She's been in the game for a minute. Yes.
period.
Yes. She knows. See, like all these shout outs, she knows her
Look at
stuff.
her. She's
I
the
love
best.
her. She's
Confident.
the best. She's been in the game. Yo, this this talk was
Amazing.
amazing, for real. I don't want to stop, to be honest. I wanted to just keep coming with the questions, but unfortunately we only have an hour playing and we are at the top of the hour. So
Yeah.
Doris, is there anything else that maybe we didn't cover that you want to, you feel like it's really important for us to know, that we should nail down real quickly before we call it a night?
Yes. One thing that always comes up in terms of terms when you're opening an account, if you don't have one yet, First of all, make sure you use your friends. If you have friends that are already using, whether it's like Fidelity, E-Trade, all these companies that we mentioned, they always have referral. And when you use a referral, you can get like 4 free stock, 2 free stock. They might be small amount, but a stock is a stock. Even if it's $8, you can buy coffee or something with it. It's money, right? And that one, $8, or you can get lucky and get like a Visa stock, $200 or something. It's a luck thing. So always make sure you ask your friends or network if someone has a referral and leverage the referral link. Also, when you're opening an account, sometimes there's like people get confused about types of account. There's like a cash account and there's a margin account. A margin account just means that you're buying on borrowed money. You're borrowing money. If you like, you might have $1,000 there in your account, and the company allows you to borrow an additional, for example, 1,000. So you would have $2,000 to buy. So that gives you what we call a buying
By
power.
power.
Right.
Right.
But the thing with that is, if you by any chance maximize your buying power and your stock goes down, the company can sell that stocks to take their money because they don't want to be at risk. So those are things you want to consider. Some people are like, what is a cash account? Well, a cash account is that. And the difference too is a cash account, you can really day trade in a cash account because there are some regulations where when you buy, you have to hold for 3 days and then let the money settle before you can actually use the money
Sell
again.
it, okay.
So it gets a little bit where you might buy today and you might be stuck. You can buy until the money settle and you have to wait 3-4 days before you can actually buy again. So that's why sometimes people use like a margin account if you're smart about using that margin and not maximizing all your buying power.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, wow.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Charity. Thank you
you.
so much. There was one quick question, like, is it fair to say that for beginners, when you're trying to get into the stock market, you might need to think about some money that you don't mind losing due to the risk in trading?
100%.
Yeah,
You definitely want to put in what you're willing to
to
lose,
lose. Yeah,
because it can be fun where you can be making money and then the next day it can go south,
yeah,
especially nowadays in the trading. Nowadays everything is like all over the place, especially with like Reddit. I don't know if you guys know about
Yeah.
Reddit. And it's crazy. Investing is not necessarily what it used to be because there's so many people that COVID changed a lot of things. So you got to be very careful what you're doing. Don't put in the money for your rent. Don't put in the money that you need for survival. Only put in what you're willing to lose. So if you lose it, you're not gonna lose sleep over it. You're just gonna learn from your mistake and maybe do better.
yeah,
Yeah. So that definitely is a nice call out.
yeah.
That's
Thank you
true.
so much. Thank you so much for that. Do you have a Facebook page, or do you just have your Facebook profile?
I
Or do
just
you
have
have a
my
like?
Facebook profile. I
Okay.
initially started with a Facebook page, but I haven't really worked on it
Okay.
because I really am passionate about getting a lot of people to get involved in investing, the stock
Yeah.
market.
So
Uh,
I don't know if you're thinking what I'm thinking, Ariella. I'm thinking we can create her a consulting page on Tap Direct.
yeah.
No, I love to. I can talk stock all day. It's
See,
just I.
that's what we need to do. You are going to be on the consulting page on Tap Direct as a stock consultant so people can have one-on-one conversation with you. Again, people, she's not your financial advisor, so don't come over here and put on Facebook, hey, Doris told me to invest my money and I lose my money. My friend, go do your own research. Oh,
Research.
Due
uh-huh.
diligence, we call it. Do
Do
your
your
own
own
due
due diligence. We call it DD. Do your own DD, okay? So yeah, Kiki, if you want to contact her and everything, just be on the lookout for her link on Tap Direct. You will be able to contact her if you want to have a meeting with her one on one. Based on her schedule, she will meet with you always. And so in 2 weeks, so next week we have Tap Member Corner.
Yep.
So the week after that, we are going to have the part two of the stock market talk, where we're going to talk about investing in the stock market and cryptos.
Mhm.
We're gonna have another Togolese guru with us. That is Crypto Guru. Y'all are going to love him, and I don't know. I might convince Doris to join us again, since y'all love her so much.
Yeah,
You know, so we can do some tag teaming in 2 weeks time. So get your questions ready. We're gonna hit it hard. We want to see our people win. We want to see more millionaires in our
that's
community,
right. That's right.
because we have work to do. We're coming from somewhere, so we have work to do. So we want to see a lot of people winning. We want to see, again, millionaires, billionaires, you name it,
You name it.
CEOs. We want to see everybody doing it big. So be on the lookout for the flyers for next week and the week after that. And if you guys have any question in the meantime, do not hesitate to email us at tepdirect@gmail.com, and we will provide you any support that we could.
Offer to you.
Mot de fin, Ariella, what's your mot de fin?
Wait, what happens?
Look at you. I thought you said you speak French, eh? Your
Mercy.
final words, my dear. Your final
Oh, mother
words.
fun. Okay, sorry. Um, Honestly, this has been like amazing. I think a lot of times, like, there's so much market talk on social media, but really just coming down in a place like this, just understanding what it really is, from the basics to the intermediate level of things. It's just a good conversation starter for us. And I think especially for the Togolese communities, like, we can also be a part of this. Like, we don't have to leave ourselves out because we don't know. It's
Yeah.
up to us to just bring ourselves into these conversations so that we can start it in our minds. And from there, once it's placed in our mind, we can move forward. So for real, thank you so much, Doris, for coming. Like, this has been amazing. And like, a lot of millennials like myself or Gen Z, whatever, are just trying to like,
Millennials, you're not millennial.
I'm sorry, are trying to immerse ourselves into this. And, it's really good to see a Togolese role model like you be able to like talk about this with us. So I appreciate that.
You're very
Absolutely.
welcome. And
Thank you so much.
just a quick note for all who are listening, you don't have to. You can open account with, like, let's say, TD Ameritrade and not have money in it, but open what they call a oh, why am I going blank? There is like paper trading. So you
Okay.
can just open an account. You don't have to put in money, and you can use a simulator. It will give you, let's say, 100,000, and see how you do with the 100,000. You go in, you buy in a couple of stocks, and you see how they perform, and that's how you can learn in practice. So you don't have to wait until you have money to start. You can start
Yeah.
with, they call it fake account.
Yeah, I remember doing this in business school. We
Yeah,
did it with Yahoo Finance at the time.
there you
We
go.
we did trading, yeah.
So we
Oh,
just gotta
that's
get our
that's
hands
good that
dirty.
Mary Trade do that. Yeah, that's a really good way to learn. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Well, thank you for
Wow.
having me.
Thank you guys so much. See you guys what next week with TEP Members Corner.
Corner, yeah.
Bye.